erupted at the cabin that we believe Christopher Dorner was holed up in, and we're not exactly sure how this fire started. We know they fired tear gas into the cabin.
Yeah, but that, and as you pointed out, I think earlier, Pat, you alluded to it, that doesn't mean that the tear gas actually started the fire. The person inside could have started the fire as well. But nonetheless, Carter Evans said that this cabin, and he had direct eyes on it. He said he saw smoke, white smoke coming out of the cabin. He heard the tear gas rounds being fired in. I think he said something like up to 4, maybe even perhaps 6 rounds of tear gas.
Shots.
And
tear
gas
shots.
Tear gas shots. And then he said that after that, he said that white smoke was turning black, and then he could see flames engulfing this cabin. And he said the officers who had this cabin surrounded, and he said he could see that they had this thing covered from every angle. They were all under protection, but then they brought in those SWAT vehicles and moved those things in a little bit closer. And then once that tear gas had been fired, those officers even got closer to the cabin. And Carter said he could even see those who were sitting inside the wooded area, that they had advanced down on the cabin as well. So Carter said there was no way anybody could get out of this cabin and get away.
And that they were in protective stance when we last spoke with Carter, but they had not entered the cabin or showed any signs that they were going to momentarily. Juan Fernandez is also in the area, and Juan, I'm sure you can see this smoke, or at least smell it. And what else do you
Pat,
see?
we've been trying to locate that smoke out here, and I can tell you, I've been sharing information with other reporters out here, and a couple of them just told me that they've been checking some scanner traffic, and they've been hearing that there's a possibility that Dorner may have escaped that cabin and head towards a corral, a horse corral. At least there's some tracks that lead to a horse corral, and that may be explained. Take a look behind me here, why the California Highway Patrol has changed his stance here. He's got the rifle at the ready. There's someone down the street with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department also with a rifle at the ready. And also, according to that scanner traffic, they're warning the folks out there just to be careful, keep your eyes out. So, again, this is not confirmed information, but it's information that's being put out there, apparently on the police scanners, that there is a possibility, a small possibility, that he may have escaped, that they've noticed some tracks leading away from the cabin to a horse corral. And as you see here, we have a CHP officer with his rifle at the ready. I've been trying to talk to him a little bit, too. He is, same as us, waiting to see what's next. And Pat, as I look out up towards the sky, it's very clear skies here. The sun quickly setting. We do not see the smoke. We do not smell the smoke, but we definitely hear some more chopper traffic in the air. That's what we're experiencing right now. Other than that, it is very still. We continue to look out towards the wilderness here, towards the area, the San Bernardino National Forest, for any signs of movement. And right now, things are very calm.
Well, that plume of smoke one is certainly rising. In fact, that smoke is still black, which tells you that fire is still hot. Generally, it goes white when they're getting water on something, but still a lot of black smoke in that.
Does that change the situation in a bit? This has been one of the most, this story has more twists and turns in it now. When we first talked to Carter a few moments ago, we were almost, not full certainty, obviously, but not sure that Christopher Dorner was still inside the cabin and that the fire could have been started inside the cabin or outside the cabin. Now we hear another report where they say he possibly could have escaped. Maybe this was something to put the officers off the track. Maybe this was another tactic.
Could be, but, Carter told us repeatedly, and he had direct eyes on that cabin, and he was in very close proximity to it, within something like 100 yards. He felt that there's no way anybody could get out of that cabin and get away from this area, that he felt they had it sufficiently surrounded. We want to remind you that you're watching a special report, continuing coverage of the manhunt for Christopher Dorner here on CBS 2 and KCAL 9. We've been going at it all day. The twists and turns, Pat, as you just pointed out, are absolutely incredible in this story. It seems like within every half hour we get some new element to this story which you just didn't even bank on. But it's unfolding right now, and this is, as you pointed out, Pat, just a short while ago, after we were done talking to Carter, it seems like if there was going to be the gunfight at the OK Corral, that is the OK Corral that's on fire right there, and Carter had talked to officers who were on the front lines right there, and they were certain that this is their man who was inside that, barricaded inside that cabin.
They're now adding to more uncertainty, and that's generally how things unfold. You hear stories here and there. Juan Fernandez just gave us a report where possibly Dorner or the person that was holed up in this cabin could have gotten away. Now, this is a picture We can actually see the
the
flames
flames.
now and the black smoke coming out of this cabin. But again, we're not certain if the authorities have approached. When we last spoke with Carter, he said the authorities were surrounded this cabin, but they had not approached itself. They had not approached the cabin itself. They just had their guns at the ready, and that led us to wonder if they indeed actually set this on fire, or if Dorner, the person who believed
Tear
to be
gas,
one
yeah,
of the
tear
inside.
gas. Tear gas.
It can cause flames, of
Yeah,
course.
exactly right.
But you
exactly
just
right.
don't know. This guy could have had tear gas too. We've heard he was on the ready. He had a number of materials that were confiscated from his burned out truck that we learned on Thursday, possibly having a gas mask of some kind. And this person has been trained in all kind of tactical warfare. He's been to Afghanistan, so it's not surprising that he would even have those kinds of supplies or that kind of ammunition on his person.
You know, any number of things could happen in a situation like this. I mean, they exchanged a lot of rounds of gunfire when this gun battle broke out at this barricaded house. Who's to say that the person inside wasn't hit, you know, mortally, maybe bled out? That